Mountaineer fans are still wondering what in the world happened this past Saturday against the Kansas Jayhawks. But it's time to turn the page. We have to look ahead to the next game on the Big 12 schedule and finally another home game as the Utah Utes travel to Morgantown to take on our beloved Mountaineers. And in this episode, we're going to bring on a very special guest to talk about Utah, and we're going to have that conversation with WildUte from the College Football Mafia show right now. What is up, and welcome into this episode of Couz's Corner, your home for top shelf college sports news and analysis surrounding the West Virginia Mountaineers in the Big 12. As West Virginia prepares to take on Utah this coming Saturday in Game 2 of their Big 12 conference slate, I'm bringing on a very special guest to educate us a little bit about the Utes and what to expect. Mr. WildUte from over at the College Football Mafia show. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Couz?
Going great, man. Thanks for coming on.
For sure. We just had some rough losses over this
Mm-hmm.
last weekend to Kansas and Texas Tech. West Virginia and Utah both put up a whopping 10 points each. And
Yep.
so we're both licking our wounds a little bit going into this football game.
Yep.
Not ideal because it's a big-time national stage, Fox game, 3:30 Eastern kickoff. Couz, you're going to be there. And so I'm hoping the West Virginia fans show out for it too.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's missing a little bit of the luster it could have had.
Right. Oh, definitely. It definitely is. Yeah. It's had both teams won, you'd have a 3-1 team and a 4-0 team come.
Yeah.
Utah would likely be ranked, right? So it would be.
Mhm.
You'd be surprised how many tickets I've already seen for sale on social media. I mean, people are frustrated, and there is a chance I don't make it to the game. It's still up in the air for me yet, but I do have tickets. But there's some other things going on that may prevent me from going. But that being said, I'll at least be watching it if I can't be there. But man, this is one of the games I've been looking forward to. Utah, West Virginia have only played a couple of times, a handful of times maybe in history. Utah pretty much owns the series, and I remember the last time these two teams played, it did not work out well for my Mountaineers. But man, what went wrong, you think, for the Utes against Texas Tech?
What went wrong is the Utes just didn't come out with the fire and juice and the sharpness they needed to come out and play with. Texas Tech is a talented football team. They stretched the Utes vertically, wide. They threw the ball down the field. The Utes put up a good fight for 3.5 quarters, and the back was broken, and the points came on, and it looked real bad at the end of the game. But really, the disappointing part, Couz, is there's only so many times, you know this too, that you get a big noon, massive audience and everything. And to have a first quarter like Utah did, where they turn the ball over multiple times, get stuffed on a fourth down, sloppy football game in week 4, I hate it. I hate it. It was so disappointing to see it. The Utes didn't play clean. It was ugly football. You lost the game by multiple scores. And at the end of the day, Texas Tech just looked like they just had more juice. They wanted it more. And they're the better team. They are the better team on a neutral site. If this game was at Texas Tech, it could have got even uglier earlier, right? So, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I thought the Utes would win the game. Utes were favored to win the game, but it was a big stunner at Rice Eccles on Saturday, and it's still Ute fans are still reeling from it. Honestly, it's pretty shocking still.
Yeah, and West Virginia fans, I think most of us were not expecting necessarily West Virginia to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas had us at 12.5-point dogs right around there, anywhere between 12.5 up to 14.5, before kickoff. And but we never dreamed that it would be 41-10. You know what I mean? And it just wasn't even close. And the way our offense played is what really is disheartening, especially considering Rich Rod's an offensive guy, right? But, we also have to sit back and look at the situation. It's a brand new coaching staff, brand new roster of 80 new players. We're going to have some growing pains, man. And I think the Pitt win kind of may have set some unrealistic expectations for some people, which I tried to warn against. I said, look, it's never as good as it seems or as bad as it seems, right? So we got to be careful of that. But speaking of spread, the spread on this game, according to DraftKings, before I jumped on here, was about -10, obviously in favor of the Utes. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that this Utah football team could win any game and lose any game in the Big 12. I think that I've seen enough over the last season and a half to not overlook any opponent, any Big 12 opponent. You go in cross country to West Virginia, a lot of Ute fans before the season circled this game and said, this is upset city. A lot of Ute fans were really worried about this game, but the thought was it was going to be a victory over Texas Tech. Completely different circumstances. You're licking your wounds. You need a win. Desperately need a Big 12 win, especially after last year's 2-7 conference performance. I mean, Utah has to be hungry. I wouldn't bet on this football game. I wouldn't bet the over on it. I wouldn't bet that the Utes cover by 9.5, 10 points. It could happen. It could be an absolute dogfight. It could be anyone's game. No way. I'm not putting any money on it, though. Too unpredictable. I've seen too many times over the last year and a half games just not go the way that the Utes should have played. I thought they would play. And so I expect actually a dogfight.
Yeah.
West Virginia Utah football game.
The one thing that gives me hope as a West Virginia fan is the fact that it's in Morgantown. I think, West Virginia has played 2 road games now. Neither of them, they look terrible in both of them, at least offensively. The defense didn't play bad in either game, really. You could say they played bad the second half maybe of the Kansas game, but I mean, when your offense is not giving you any help at all, at some point your defense is going to break, right? So I still don't put that on the defense. And there was also some special teams blunders too, but offensively, this team has just struggled, especially on the road, and even moments at home they've struggled. So but the fact that they have played better at home, and the offense has at least showed some life at home, maybe that gives this game or gives the Mountaineers a little bit of hope here. But let's go ahead and, speaking of West Virginia offense, let's go ahead and look at some offense versus defense.
Let's do it.
And then we'll flip it. But what would you consider now that coming into everybody knows Kyle Whittingham was always known to field good defenses, right?
Right.
They're always good up front. But when I look at the PFF grades, to use that as a measuring stick, it looks like the linebackers right now have been the best unit on that team so far. Is that an accurate statement? And what can you say about that unit?
Yeah, the linebacking unit is very talented, very experienced with Lander Barton leading that group. Then you've got Jonathan Hall, who is a junior, but he's a stud player. Then you've got DeMooney. And so you've just got a lot of talent there. You've got a lot of experience. It's supposed to be one of the rocks of the defense this year, the linebackers. When you're looking at the rest of the defense, though, one of the concerns going into this football season was the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And largely the defensive ends, the pass rush for the Utes. And that's been better than anticipated, actually, with a guy by the name of John Henry Daly. What a freaking name, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, this guy
down here. I got this guy's name wrote down here. Yeah.
Like, he's one of the sack leaders of the country right now, and he kind of came out of nowhere. Like, he was a transfer from BYU 2 years ago, and he was in the system last year, got some reps and everything, but he really exploded this year, and it wasn't really anticipated. So it's been a healthy surprise. The pass rush looks good because I think at the end of the day, this defense is a really good defense. They're going to be one of the better defenses at the end of the season in the Big 12 Conference. But when you're playing Texas Tech, they are so dang explosive. They've got like 3 or 4 receivers that have go over like insane amount of yards going into that Utah football game. We couldn't hold them down. Back was broken. It got ugly at the end and stuff. But I still think that the best part about this Utah football team is the defense.
Now, would you say the defensive line is a strength then, or just a pass rush aspect of it? How are they on run defense, I guess would be a better question.
Yeah, run defense. Let's look at the Pro Football Focus stats. I'm very curious about that. My intuition, just watching the games and everything, is that the run defense has kind of slipped up a little bit. The interior defensive line just hasn't really been able to hold the own. Like Utah usually dominates the trenches, right? Like in the push. And Utah, especially in that Texas Tech game, got beat in the trenches. It's shocking. Can't believe it's shocking. They busted off a bunch of runs off of just like quarterback handoffs out of the shotgun. And it just seemed like that interior defensive line, especially in that game, was really exposed. I'm curious, though, about how the grades shake out for the entire season. I think it's a pretty average unit in the interior defensive line. I don't think it's like a huge deficit. I just think that Texas Tech is a team that can expose your flaws because they can stretch you so much, too.
And they're so talented. I mean, we all know.
They are,
my God, they got guys all over the place. And I think I think a lot of that, to be honest with you, that game may have shown, and obviously time will tell, but was it showing how good Texas Tech is? Or, is
Mhm.
Utah really that bad, or is Texas Tech just a really good football team? I think that's what we got to be looking out for. But you were
Yeah, I
asking
think
about,
that it kind of meets in the middle
yeah,
too. My
right,
thoughts are like Texas Tech is better than we thought, but Utah has some limitations. We're going to get into
yeah,
those limitations and like how West Virginia needs to be game planning the Utes. I'll
mhm,
just tell you straight up exactly how it is when we get to that segment.
yeah. Yeah, right now you mentioned the PFF grades. The Texas Tech game was an anomaly for PFF grades, really, for Utah, to be honest with you. I mean, you look at their overall, I mean, just the Texas Tech game, their tackling grade was 38.9, which is, I mean, they had a 55.7 against UCLA, but then against Cal Poly and Wyoming, they were in the 80s and
Hmm.
70s in tackling. So they were good to great, even. But the run defense held up pretty decent, 70.3 according to PFF. But the prop, I don't know how, obviously tackling and run defense are two separate grades here, but they do kind of go hand in hand somewhat, right? But it shows me that, but somewhere maybe in that second or third level, guys were missing some tackles. That's kind of what that shows me. And then coverage, 58.8 in pass coverage, so they struggled there as well a little bit. And the pass rush, they didn't do as well. They had 3 great performances in the pass rush the first 3 games of the season, and then that was not as good against Texas Tech.
Hmm.
So, they weren't able to get to the quarterback as much, and they weren't able to. We obviously saw what Will Hammond, is that his name, did late in that game against them. So,
Their backup quarterback came in.
yep,
He looked like an absolute stud.
yep,
It was shocking. Couz, like it was shocking to see it. Like I've been to a lot. I was at the game. Been to so many games like it. You knock
uh-huh,
out first string quarterback, it's like licking the chops. Utah's going to win this game, and just got absolutely punched and bullied in the fourth quarter. Unbelievable. And like yeah, the safeties. I think that like one of the biggest issues on this team is safety for Utah, like
right,
the tackling from the safety spot and also just like the coverage, especially
hmm,
with a player like Nate Ritchie, who's a very experienced player and like he's plays his heart out. He just doesn't have the speed and talent level a lot of times to compete with these like Big 12 wide receivers, especially when he's in coverage.
right,
He got exposed, and like that is going to be a theme for the rest of the year because the starting safety in that spot, Rabbit Evans, got hurt last game versus Wyoming. He's out for the season. And so going deep on this Utes, like it's a common theme, like West Virginia game planning. And this is like where I would need to ask you, Couz, like does
hmm.
West Virginia going into the Utah West Virginia football game, do they have the speed and do they have the explosiveness down the field to really punish a team like Utah? Because Utah right now, that is where you can have them on defense. You can go deep on them. You can stretch them out if you've got the talent to do it.
We've got one guy by the name of Cam Vaughn who does have the ability to take the top off the defense. The
Yep.
problem is they've been unable to get him the football.
Yep.
Our second best receiver, second best outside receiver, Jaden Bray, is out for the year now. So teams have now shifted more of the attention to Cam Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
They're they're playing a man straight up, and then they're putting at times they're putting a safety, bracketing him with a safety as well, right? And then you add in the fact that our offensive line has not held up enough to give our quarterback, those down the field pass plays take time to develop, and our quarterback has not had time to throw the football down the field much. So that's really been a struggle. Our offensive line has just been really, really struggling so far the first 4 games of the year, and it's really hampered the offense. And and the quarterbacks, have not always been totally accurate with the football either. There's some blame that goes there, but they really haven't even had a lot of chances to throw the ball down the field. And again, is it play calling? My guess is it's the offensive line not holding up. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe some blame could be put on the play calling and not being aggressive enough. I don't know. But really, Cam Vaughn's the one guy that has that is that threat. Jaden Bray could have done it some too, but again, unfortunately, he's out. And I'm just not sure there's anybody else on the team right now, at least, with that ability. With some really good slot receivers, but those guys are more of your hitch, your routes, and your screens and those types of things. So it'll be interesting to see if Cam Vaughn can take advantage of that. Some of those deep pass coverage concerns you spoke about. I mean, you were mentioning the safeties. I looked as you were talking. Nate Ritchie has played 217 snaps for the
Yep.
Utes, has a tackling grade of 40.8 and a coverage
Yep.
grade of 58.6.
Yep.
So he's struggling a little bit. So
Yep.
maybe that's a spot they can take advantage of back there. We'll see. Your corners, though, you've got Jason Benny. Is that Jackson Benny?
Jackson Benny
71.6 coverage grade for him by him, so that's good.
plays two ways. Plays on offense too. He
Really?
might be one of the better receivers on the team. I'm serious about that,
Travis Hunter,
Couz.
number 2, baby.
Yeah.
You've got Smith Snowden, who at a 65.5, not elite, but not bad coverage grade there. And then Elijah Davis with a 61, so he's not, as good in coverage,
Mm-hmm.
but still not terrible, right? So looks like the coverage has been so-so. I wouldn't say it's been great, but it's not been terrible either for the Utes. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think going into the Texas Tech game, the coverage was pretty good, right? But you played
Mhm.
three really bad opponents. It
Yeah,
didn't show you
right.
anything. UCLA, Cal Poly, and Wyoming.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's
really
fair.
bad opponents,
That's
right?
fair. Yeah,
And
that's
so
fair.
this is game one of really understanding who Utah is. Like you come out and play the most explosive offense in the Big 12, in my point of view, Texas Tech,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think they're going to make any secondary look bad. And then when you mold all that together and stuff, this is what you get for Utah right now. I don't think that the defensive backs for the Utes are a liability. I think there's good players back there, maybe not elite players, but it will not be the holdback
Mm-hmm.
for this game versus West Virginia or the season. I think you've got the talent there to compete. And one thing, expect this, Couz,
Mm-hmm.
especially after we've been talking everything. Like if Cam Vaughn, if he's going to get bracketed, if he's going to get doubled or whatever you can do to stop that deep passing game, Utah will suffocate this defense. They're going to play the box like basically almost every play. You'll see it. They'll blitz like insane. They'll
Yeah.
play really close up to the line, and they will not stretch out if there's not a second wide receiver that can put them in that
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Yeah, we're
I
screwed.
think I think that is,
I think
and you know what? I mean, Coos, like it's going to be the same story in the West Virginia side. Like Utah has some serious offensive limitations right now, and
yeah.
they're basically going to be playing the same exact freaking defense on both sides. It's like prove it, stretch us,
Mm-hmm.
prove it. Anybody make a play, stretch it,
Mm-hmm.
stretch it. Can you get 25 yards on a pass? And I haven't seen it from this Utah football team actually hitting on big plays down the field.
Yeah.
A lot of bubble screens, a lot of good running backs, a lot of good runs and stuff. But like this is an offense for Utah that doesn't really have an identity at this point in time. They've got
Mm-hmm.
talent, but one thing's certain: at this point in time, there's been nobody in this team that can stretch the field. And how are you supposed to win a lot of Big 12 games when you can't stretch the field, Coos?
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's a fair statement. And that's for our problem has been we can't run the football to set up the pass, and we don't have the blocking to hold up to it either. You know what I mean? That's been a
Yep.
huge concern. This episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and college football is now in full swing, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Couz, that's code Couz, C-O-U-Z, to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses. Get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Opt in for single use token. Minimum 3 plus legs and minus 500 odds per leg. Max bet varies. If only one leg of the bet loses, bet will settle as if only the winning legs were placed and pays out in cash based on odds when the bet was placed. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Switching sides of the ball then, since you kind of segued that way,
Sure.
let's talk about Devin Dampier for a minute, man. What has he been a disappointment? Has he been, what's been the verdict on him so far through 4 games?
Devin Dampier Utah fans love the kid.
Mhm.
After the bad quarterback play the last 2 years for the Utes, having a player that's dual threat that can escape like Dampier is a breath of fresh air. A lot of people that aren't associated with the Utah program are pointing the finger saying Devin Dampier, oh, he looks just like any other Utah quarterback, like your Isaac Wilsons of last year. That's not the case, Couz. Like the problem for Devin Dampier is that he doesn't have the wide receiving weapons to actually to get plays down the field again. So teams can play up on the box. They can just protect a quarterback run, put a man spy every time, and the guy is an explosive playmaker with his legs. Like you've got to spy him on every play because he can bust a 30-yard play with his legs at any given time and extend plays. It's amazing how he is so hard to tackle in the backfield. I mean, he could really extend a play for 7, 8 seconds and keep it going. But the problem is, again, the Utah wide receivers haven't been able to get open
Yeah.
in all that time. And so, like, what are you supposed to do if you're Devin Dampier? I don't care. Patrick Mahomes is doing the same type of stuff in the pros. If you don't have wide receiver talent, you're not going to be able to make plays.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how good you are. And so, Devin Dampier, in my point of view, is not the issue at all. He had a rough game versus Texas Tech, no touchdown passes, 2 interceptions. He was trying to force the ball because nothing was happening on the ground game. And to me, it's not a Dampier problem. It's like who in the wide receiver room is going to step up to stretch the field to make it easier to run the football for the Utes.
Yeah, and that's fair, man. And that as a West Virginia guy thinking about this past Saturday, West Virginia struggled with Jalen Daniels, man. He made some big plays with his legs in that game. Didn't run the ball a ton, but when he did, he had some success with it. And that's what worries me about Dampier too. And they've struggled. I mean, the Ohio game they played against a running quarterback, struggled, to contain him at times. Again, defense wasn't really our biggest issue, but they were able to get some big plays on us. So, what about that offensive front for Utah? How's it holding up? From both
So
the pass perspective and run
yeah,
blocking perspective.
so for the left and right tackles for Utah, very talented players.
Mm-hmm.
Before heading into the last game, they were said to be first round picks. I don't know if one game changes anything, but they just did not have a great game. The whole
Mm-hmm.
offensive line lost the line of scrimmage versus Texas Tech. Kudos to those guys. But Spencer Fano,
Yeah.
Cable Oblomu, those guys are talented players. They will be NFL players. They've got the size, the physicality to protect the edges for the Utes. Their
Mm-hmm.
their line really is one of the better in the nation. Um, Top 5, top 10, maybe is hard to make that claim after what I just saw.
Yeah,
And
but
we
you
were
got
saying that, yeah,
to be fair, Texas Tech has some NFL guys on the defensive side of the ball too.
100%. And like if Texas Tech really is indeed that good, maybe Utah still is a top 10 line
Mm-hmm.
in the nation. It was supposed to be the strength of the team going into the season. I still think it's the strength of the team. You got experience all over from the interior to the tackles. All these guys have played together for a long time. And Utah football is owning the line of scrimmage. Like you basically can tell if Utah is going to win any football game or lose it if they're losing the line of scrimmage. This team builds from the interior out,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason for that, Couz, is because the recruiting grounds that Utah's in. There's a lot of Polynesian players that are really talented players in the West, especially in the state of Utah,
Mm-hmm.
that are really, really physical guys and stuff that have really good weight, heck of football players, and excellent linemen. So Utah, recruiting wise, you will always see you teams build from the interior and try to own the line of scrimmage and own the push because of that's where the recruiting grounds give you. That's your natural talent that you can get. It's always a struggle at
Mm-hmm.
Utah. Even BYU, you'll notice this too, is getting the skill positions to compensate for everything else. And
Right.
once the skill position comes in, you've really got something going. But for Utah, just watch the line of scrimmage any given day. If Utah's winning it, they're probably going to win that football game. If they're losing it, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to sit here and predict that West Virginia will beat Utah on the line of scrimmage because I don't necessarily think that's the case. But I do think they'll hold their own because
yeah,
the one strength of this West Virginia defense has really been the defensive line. They've really done. They're not elite, but they're solid. They're consistent. They play really hard. And then Zach Alley is really good about scheming them up. He'll move guys around. You'll have a guy who might play defensive tackle one game. He'll move him on the interior the next game
right.
just because of a matchup that he sees that he likes, right? I mean, he's really good about that. But again, I don't know if they've seen an offensive line as good as what they're going to see I mean, Kansas wasn't a bad O-line by any means, but they're not Utah good. So
Mm-hmm.
this will be a huge test for this Mountaineer defense against this, what I'll say, elite offensive line. I mean, Phil Steele talks about it, in his preseason magazine. You've talked about it. We've heard Kyle Whittingham even say, hey, this might be the best offensive line I've ever had. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
guy who's won Pac-12 championships. He's won multiple bowl games. He's played in 2 Rose Bowls. I mean, he's won a lot of football games in his career. So for him to say that, for like you said, a team who builds the team that way, that's saying something, right? Multiple NFL guys. It'll be a very big, and I think West Virginia, maybe they can use that as motivation this week. Hey, we got NFL guys. We're going to show them what we can do. We'll see. But my biggest concern for West Virginia on the defensive side against Utah is stopping Dampier, and then
Mm-hmm.
but you talk like the receiving core for Utah may be a weakness on that side of the ball. So I might give West Virginia the edge there because we've got Michael Coach Jr., who's one of the top corners in the Big 12, who's been an absolute dog over there. I mean, they really – I think he's been targeted like 4 times so far the whole
Mm-hmm.
season. So he's just locking things down over there, really. Would you say that the receiving core is a weakness on the offense right now?
The receiving core is one of the worst in the Big 12 conference. It's not just a weakness, it's an Achilles heel.
Okay,
Uh,
wow.
Ryan Davis is the best receiver in the room right now. He played with Dampier in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He's good for about 8 to 10 catches a game. But remember like Wes Welker, like
Mm-hmm.
Julian Edelman, that type of player,
Right.
short yardage, catches, screens, he's that player. He's not going to stretch the D, but he's going to get 1 billion catches per game and stuff. And he's got
Mm-hmm.
good chemistry with Dampier. Very good player. The
Yeah.
problem is like on anything vertical, anything explosive, there are players in the room that have the speed to do it. They just haven't proven it consistently and they haven't hit it yet. Like I'm thinking of a guy by the name of Tobias Merriweather. He was a
Mm-hmm.
4-star recruit. He went to Notre Dame, transferred to Cal. He had some injury over the years, but he came in highly touted in the transfer portal and he was supposed to be the guy. And just for whatever reason, Dampier and Merriweather have not been able to connect on anything deep. There's not a lot of separation, even with Dampier's escapability. And so this is how you play Utah. You
Mm-hmm.
you press man, their receivers, and then you spy Dampier.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's it, right? And then
Yeah.
like let it happen, right? Like in if you can if your defensive line can hold the rushing attack for the Utes, and the Utes have not leaned enough on their rushing game, they've gotten cute with a lot of screens and try to do like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the bubble stuff. But since they can't push it downfield too much, Utah's got to win football games in the future by just pounding the dang rock and making it simple, old fashioned football. I hate to
Yeah.
say it,
Yeah.
they got to do that. If West Virginia can stop that up, they could really muck this game up, man. Because
Yeah.
there's just not a lot of explosiveness that I'm seeing yet.
We'll talk a little bit about before we move. I'm going to talk about the running backs in a second. Before we do, talk
No.
about Hunter Andrews a little bit. He seems like a pretty decent tight end for the Utes. Is he a
He's
threat?
yeah, he is a threat. He's a talented kid too. He's a little bit banged up,
Hmm.
so I'm hoping that he plays and everything. He
Okay.
probably will, but I know that there's been some reports and stuff that he's a little bit banged up for the game. But he's more of an H back, so he can play running back, and he gets a lot of carries. He played running back in high school, and also tight end. They moved him to tight end. He's a really good player, a younger player and stuff. But like yeah, like it's just more of the same. Like Couz, like you've got talent that can get the ball in short yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Andrews great for a 5 yard out, 10 yard route, and like a 2 yard route, running the football. Like a lot of good players that can make a lot of plays within the first 10 yards. Like right, like, but really, you can't just nickel and dime all the time. All these
Yeah.
players and stuff, they just need something to open this up because it's just too easy to defend the Utes right now without any explosive play to stretch out. Like so, all these players are kind of the same. Like they're really good in their respective units, but you just don't have enough stretchy
That
ability.
same thing with Dallin Bentley. He's another tight end for y'all? Is he in the same mold basically?
Same kind of mold and everything with Bentley. He wasn't anticipated to have a massive year. It was supposed to be Hunter Andrews, really
Mm-hmm.
mostly a tight end, but Bentley's had kind of a breakout, and he even had like the best downfield play versus Texas Tech, where he I think got a 30-yard catch, and that
Yeah.
was like the longest play that the Utes had all game and everything. The kid's not a speedster, so he's just a solid tight end. He's
Yeah.
an experienced tight end. He's played a lot of snaps over the years. So he's been a nice little weapon and everything. We've gone to him a lot, but he just does. He's not a player that's talented enough or has the speed to really stretch it out or be a game record per se. But he's just a good player.
That's fair. So you talked about running game. Looks like it's kind of a two-man game there with Wayshawn Parker and
Nakari Rogers, yeah.
Yep, Rogers. Did he? I'm not seeing him. Did he not play last game?
He played last game. Just had a little more of a quiet game for Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I wasn't seeing him on this list I'm looking at here, but we'll talk a little bit about those guys. It looks like they've shared carries pretty much evenly so far.
In my view, outside of the line, I love this running back room, Couz. I mean, the Utes have about 5 good running backs in the staple, and Wayshawn Parker and Rogers are stud players. And like they just haven't got enough carries. Wayshawn Parker is probably the most explosive player on the offense. Dampier is right there next to him. But Parker can bring it to the house on any play. I want to say that he got like 6 dang carries
Yeah.
versus Texas Tech.
It's exactly what he got.
What?
And Rogers got 10.
Like in Nakari Rogers is a great player. They're kind of similar backs. Rogers came from New Mexico with Ryan Davis and Dampier with Jason Beck.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the offense coordinator for the Utes. So there's a
Right.
lot of chemistry there and a lot of comfort that Jason Beck calls and has Rogers in the game. He's like that dependable guy that's going to get you yards and everything. But the player that the Utes just have not featured in us is Wayshawn Parker. Wayshawn Parker is a superstar player that they just got to give this kid the ball almost 20 times a game. He's getting the ball 5, 6, 7 times a game. Like,
Yeah.
what the heck's going on with this offensive line, man? Like, you've got these players, you've got Dampier, Parker in this line. I'll be freaking and running down teams' throats. I'll play option games with these players. It just hasn't been there. It's been a lot of dink and dunk screen games that I've seen so far from the Utes. And like they really, the identity of this Utes team needs to change to running the football up the middle, giving it to Parker, let Dampier be the player, play more of an option game if they want to win Big 12 football games.
Man, he's averaging 6.7 yards a carry this season.
It's criminal because I don't get it. I think like there's rumors that are trying to save him for this season, like later down the line.
Yeah, well, he does have
This
2
is life
fumbles,
support,
though. So
man. This is
that's
must win. Sorry. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. He does have 2 fumbles. Is that a problem potentially?
I mean, that's why he's not getting quite as many reps. He fumbled in Texas Tech with an egregious like punch out from Jacob Rodriguez, their stud All-American linebacker over in Tech and everything. So he's having fumble problems, yes. And Whittingham hates turnovers, yes. He benches running backs when you fumble, yes. That could all be contributing, but he's too talented to do this with.
Yeah.
Give the kid the football. I want to see it. I don't care if the Utes turn the ball over that much. They need someone that can actually make moves on offense, get chunk plays. Dampier can do it if he's got the space. Wayshawn Parker can do it if he gets the touches. The kid just needs to touch the football more.
Yeah. Heck, Dampier's got 2 fumbles himself. So
it's fumbles all around, Couz.
Yeah.
Fumbles.
Well, West Virginia's had a fumbling issue too. So listen, I totally get it. Fortunately, most of ours came in a game against an FCS opponent where it didn't hurt us.
Yeah.
But our West Virginia's issues have been well beyond fumbling. It's not being able to block. Simply, our offensive line is one of the worst in the country right now, in both pass blocking and run blocking. But we have 5. Our entire offensive line was rebuilt through the portal, and there's just no chemistry yet. The guys are still trying to figure out the offense and the scheme, and it's taking a long time to do it. Unfortunately, longer than us impatient fans want it to take, I guess, to be fair. But 41-10 to Kansas, and I'm not no shot at Kansas. Kansas is actually a pretty good football team,
right?
But it shouldn't be. We're not 41-10. We shouldn't be a 41-10 game. No way, shape, or form. And to only put up 10 points against a MAC school is also unacceptable. So
expect a lot of blitzing.
West Virginia's 2 road games, they've put up 10 points apiece in them, and it's just not acceptable.
I mean, I think for West Virginia fans, what to expect is you're going to see a crazy amount of blitzing. Morgan Scalley, defense coordinator, loves to blitz. On 3rd down, he basically blitzes no matter what. Like blitz. The defensive ends are good. John Henry Daly, we talked about him before. Look, it's going to be – this Ute defense is really good, and they're going to be on the line of scrimmage until they're stretched out, and that's their strength. I mean, and you're playing just trench warfare. Yeah. That's how they want to play it on defense, and so West Virginia, to move the football, you're going to have to throw it over the top. Cam Vaughn's going to have to be a big part of the game. You're going to have to get explosives and probably get some special team stuff to get going, really put the points on, because this U defense typically just doesn't give up a lot, even on the road and everything. Even versus Texas Tech, man, 13 points in the middle of the fourth quarter until the back was broken. I mean, they had a heck of a football game, and it looks ugly now, but it wasn't
Right.
necessarily that
Right.
ugly. So this game is kind of feeling like a real low scoring game.
I'm thinking the same. And right now, Vegas has it about 30-20 ballpark.
Really?
The over-under's 49.5 at DraftKings, and with a 10-point spread. So that's a 30-20 ball game, right? If my math's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's sort of a low scoring game, I guess, for Big 12 standards, I reckon. But yeah, it'll be interesting. What you mentioned special teams. How good are the Utes? Are they? Is that something they can exploit? Is that something they're good at?
Utah special teams have not shown up this season.
Hmm.
Do they have the talent at special teams? Absolutely. Like they landed the best kicker of Utah football state history in state kid this last year, and like in the recruiting ranks, the kickers get like different star ratings, not like your traditional ones from 24/7, like a 3-star was to be the best the kicker gets, but like in all the kicker receiving ratings, he's like the best kicker in the nation. And he's struggled so much, true freshman kid, and so versus Wyoming, 3 missed field goals. Texas Tech, you missed a field goal, but luckily Texas Tech had called a timeout before or got a penalty during that play, so you scoot up 15 yards and you make the field goal too. So right now, Dylan Curtis, freshman, is a concern about how stable he is going to be hitting field goals.
Yeah.
He's got the leg to hit a 70-yarder. He doesn't
Wow.
practice all the time. Like he's got an NFL leg,
Unbelievable.
but yeah, I mean, like you've got to hit it straight. Like, and he was nails in high school, but he has just not shown it yet. Lights have been big and stuff. It's right now. It's not a dependable kicking game for the Utes. Punting's fine. Kickoffs with Dylan Curtis because he's got the leg. I expect every single kickoff that West Virginia gets is going to be the back of the end zone. Not going to be able to return any of them.
Well, it must be nice because our kicker can't get it there. Ridiculous.
Like,
3 years in a row, we've not been able to get the ball in the end zone. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And like the Utes have been there in the past, and like giving up huge special teams plays off that kind of stuff.
It's freaking ridiculous, man. They even went out and got a guy who's a specialist at that. Like his touchback rate last year at Tulane was really, really high. But it's like when they walk on campus in Morgantown, that drops like a rock. What changes? I don't know what's going on, man. Anyway, it's kickoff return game. Speaking of which, that could be an area where Utah, do they have a good kickoff return game?
Utah does not have a great kickoff return game. The special teams unit across the board is below average.
Okay.
They have the ability to get to average, but they are playing below average.
So maybe West Virginia can get something going there. And then last thing I want to ask you, because there's a quarterback controversy right now, at least among the fan base in Morgantown. Yeah. A lot of people want Nico benched, and it's not necessarily just because of his performance, even though it's been inconsistent. But when you have an offensive line that's struggling, a lot of us feel like you need a quarterback that can move around more to escape it. Nico's not been able to do that. He's like a sitting duck back there to a degree. He can move a little bit, but not enough to get away from the rush that he's been seeing. And against Utah, it sounds like it could get even worse. So how good are they against running quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks?
Utah's defensive Achilles heel historically over the last 25 years in the Whittingham era, they struggle with dual threat quarterbacks.
Okay.
Especially ones that can really pass and run. Of course, everybody does. That's tough. But if you're a sitting duck quarterback versus this Utah defense, you will get blitzed into oblivion and absolutely beat up. I mean, Barrett Morton got knocked out of the football game, Couz.
I know.
And like they bring their backup in.
He's been hurt so many times in his career. And he's an NFL caliber quarterback too, and it may ruin his career. But anyway, keep going.
I hope not. Yeah, he's a great player and everything, but like it just proves the point. Even last week, like I mean, if you cannot move, Utah will feast on you. And I know who's the backup quarterback for West Virginia that got some snaps.
Jalen Henderson gets some snaps, and he came in the game and looked good running the football against. He ran for 79 yards on like 6 carries. So he and Kansas still had a lot of their starters in the game at that point too. So He was able to do it against, even with the same offensive line that Nico was playing behind. So his problem has been according to Coach Rodriguez, is he's not been good enough throwing the football. So it's kind of what do you do? What point you got to pick your poison to a degree. Do you go with the quarterback who can move but's not can't throw it real well, or do you go with Nico who's a better thrower but can't move? So it's kind of a tough situation. Now they have a true freshman named Scotty Fox who can do both, but he got inserted into the game against Pitt and threw 2 straight interceptions deep in their own territory.
Gee.
It was obvious that he's just not ready yet, right? He's a true freshman.
Yeah.
So I think that experiment might be done at least for this year. So it looks like it's likely going to come down to Jalen Henderson or Nico, man. So I personally think they should give Jalen Henderson a shot. He's a senior. He's played in the SEC against SEC competition, and he can run the football. Give him a chance.
There's no doubt about it. If West Virginia wants to put points up on this Utah defense, it's going to be Henderson. Nico is, but it's like what I've seen, what you've talked about. He's going to be too easy to game plan for. He's going to get blitzed in oblivion again, and Utah's going to feast on him. Henderson is the answer. It's 100% Couz. It's not even a doubt and everything that it can give the Utes more fits and everything. Just running the ball, option game, quarterback run, for sure. That's probably the ticket. We'll see if that happens. As a Ute fan, I hope it doesn't. I hope we're playing Nico based on our discussion and what I've seen and everything. But if Henderson comes out, then there might be some juiciness, on offense here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And they do have a redshirt freshman named Khalil Wilkins who can also run the ball. Ironically, both Nico, Khalil, and Jalen are all left-handed as well, which is how often do you see 3 of your top 4 quarterbacks on a roster being left-handed?
Dampier's left-handed too.
Is he?
Yeah, that's so weird.
It is weird, but yeah, the last West Virginia hasn't. I'm trying to remember the last time. Obviously Pat White was left-handed, but man, it's rare to get a left-handed quarterback. Especially, it's rare to have 1, much less 3 on your roster. But West Virginia does.
I got to say this too. Okay, so before the Texas Tech game, Dampier, the hype machine was out, right? And he was getting legit Heisman chirps, right? That's all stopped. That's all stopped right now. Maybe it can turn around the season. We'll see how it goes. But you know who Dampier really is best player comp?
Who's that?
Anybody in the history of college football? It's Pat White.
Really? Interesting.
If you look at the size, they both have the same type of size. They both going to play the same type of game. Pat White had tremendous success at West Virginia, tremendous stats and everything. And he was one of the best players in West Virginia history. I loved watching him. But just looking at the intangibles, the makeup and everything else, he's basically kind of a Pat White type guy.
Interesting.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So just watch that during the game. West Virginia fans.
I'll try to pay attention to that. Yep.
What do you think is going to happen though? Are you going to throw a prediction out, Couz?
I have a show where I do later in the week. Will I likely be doing that? But I will say, it's no surprise. I'm going to be picking Utah to win the game. It's at this point. West Virginia fans get mad at me, but I'm just trying to be honest. The team's not there yet, man. They're going to need time. It doesn't mean I don't love them any less, or anything like that. I just, you come here, you're going to get honest opinion, whether you like it or not. And right now, I just don't think they're there. I picked them to lose against Pitt. We won. So I picked us to lose against Kansas, but I didn't pick us to lose by 31 points. I picked us to lose by about 11 points, and we lost. And I do think Utah's going to win the game. I've still got to kick a few things around in my head to decide where I want the score prediction to go, but I definitely think the matchup favors Utah for sure, especially after what you've just said about their defense.
To me, I would be taking the under on this football game on the score. I know it's not you said 30-20 was the
but 49.5, was the under right now as we speak. Obviously, we know that can change, but
man, I'm thinking a 2017 Utah win. Seriously, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think West Virginia plays line of scrimmage, crouches the defense, gives anything vertical to see if Utah can take advantage of it, and just stuffs the game. Utah does the same thing, and some weird stuff's going to happen. I think the Utes pull it out, but man, it is going to be a nail biter. Yeah,
like I said, I do expect a better West Virginia team at home than I did last week at Kansas. Even offensively, I think they'll be able to do a little bit, but can they do enough to beat this Utes team? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think this is the best defense they've played so far, and they scored 10 points against they did score 20. They scored 31 against Pitt. But it took overtime to do it. But it looks like now maybe that was a fluke. I don't know, man. It's but those how rivalry games go, WildUte. Those things you never know what the heck to expect. But anyway, well, listen, real quick, let everybody know where to find you when you work, man.
Yeah, College Football Mafia, WildUte University episodes, realignment, college football news, talk, big takes, opinions.
So yeah, go check out WildUte, and the College Football Mafia guys are all friends of the show. They've come, obviously WildUte's here. I've had the other guys on the show. I've been on their show multiple times. They do great work over there. If you want coverage of realignment, if you want cover, college football news, those types of things. I think they do game predictions and things like that as well. A lot of cool, fun stuff over there. Go check them out. College Football Mafia show with WildUte and Nathan Bomber Brown and Moen and Daniel Gigax, the whole team over there. Go check them out. Thanks for coming on the show, brother. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. Thanks for having me, Couz.
Absolutely. Everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to leave your score predictions below in the comments. Please be sure to hit the like button. And we appreciate you watching. Hope the rest of your day's top shelf and Q Country Roads.